Thank you so much for joining me today on this episode of Let's Talk Family. My name is Faith Kaulu. I hope you are doing well and staying safe even in this season of uncertainty and panic amidst the outbreak of coronavirus. One thing I'm sure about is there is hope. So let's be hopeful and avoid sending false information and unverified news. Now, just to have a brief background of what's happening in the world in regard to coronavirus. COVID-19 is an infectious disease caused by the novel coronavirus that primarily spreads through saliva droplets and nose discharge from an infected person. Now, according to the World Health Organization, there are over 600,000 confirmed cases in the world, and as of the 31st of March, 33,257 deaths had been confirmed. Well, as of yesterday, the Ministry of Health confirmed that the number of people in the country who have tested positive for COVID-19 is at 59. Even though all this is alarming and causes tension, this has been definitely a season where a lot of people want to be around their family and relatives to feel safe and have the assurance that better days are coming. So as we all rush to book buses, travel home and reunite with other family members, let's remember those who are not privileged or don't have the chance to do so. They could be in the country, yes, but can't travel and or rather abroad and far away. So today we want to understand how it feels to be away amidst all this, and we'll be talking to Jaflet Lolo, a student at Booth University in Winnipeg, Canada, as well as later on we'll talk to Abed Oraga, a student as well at the Eastern Mediterranean University in Northern Cyprus. But right about now, let's listen in to Jaflet. Maybe tell us, how is the situation over there? Are you able to go out and carry on with daily activities?
I'm just thankful to God for this time. It's a sad moment all over the world, but I would say I'm still protected. God has been with me, and it's a tough moment, but at the same time I feel that God is within us. So I wouldn't say that I am on quarantine because I live in the school residence. So most of us, they're really advising us to be on lockdown and social distance. So you can still go out, do groceries and all that, and still come back in your house. So for me, I'm not on quarantine. I'm still working. So I just go to work as well and do school work at the same time, and have a walk if I need fresh air. So I wouldn't say that I'm really on quarantine. My daily routine is basically the same every day. I just wake up in the morning, and I work in school. So what I do is I wake up in the morning. I work as a on-call attendant. So I will go ahead to sanitize places like doors, or go into the library and sanitize, so that wherever people are coming in, we are making sure everything is disinfected. Also, after that, I'll probably just do schoolwork, and I also work in the admissions office as a student ambassador. So I'll just go to the office and work as well. So our school right now is very quiet. Our staff are working from home. So most of the time I will find myself alone in the office. And basically after work, I'll just come back again and just relax in my room, do homework, or just have a walk outside for get some fresh air, and then come back. So nothing much going on at the moment.
All right, what are some of the measures that have been implemented by the government in order to curb the situation with COVID-19?
As a result of the virus, Canada has put strict measures where they're really discouraging people from traveling, and also those who are traveling back to the country, actually they have to go to quarantine for at least 2 weeks. So you find right now they're really discouraging people from traveling outside the country, and even locally they're really trying to minimize that, but you can still travel. But so you find these people haven't really traveled, back home, I would say, especially for those ones who are students here or already have a family here. They've just settled here because traveling right now it's not advised to travel because it runs that risk of it just like runs the risk of getting the infection, and just one way of minimizing this is just one way of controlling this infection is actually by minimizing traveling as well, because when people social distance and people stay at home is one way of reducing that growth in the number of people contacting the disease. So our government here in Canada is they have really taken some measures to make sure they're able to control this issue. So they are really advising people to have that long distance, which I think is still happening in Kenya as well. So long distancing is something that is being taken very seriously, and even like when it comes to churches, they're advising that people just be not more than 50 people, and you find like in case people don't go in line with that, there'll be a fine. So that shows how serious the government is with this. You'll find like there have been people who have really been affected with this issue, that like they're not employed at the moment, and the government has really put in a budget to support those individuals who have lost their jobs due to this pandemic. So basically that's how the government is running through. They have really put in a lot of money to go on research to see how they're able to kind of like find a vaccine for this pandemic as well.
Now, Japhlet, even during this period where we witnessed a number of Kenyans flying back home, do you wish you were able to come back home and stay with family?
I've not been home for the last 3 years now, so I really miss home. I really hope to be, that's my always dreams, have that feeling that I should be there with them. Because at least, thank God with social media, like we are able to contact each other and see each other and just assuring each other that we're doing okay, and encouraging each other. I think that's the most important thing at the moment. As well, like I'm still continuing with my studies, so I live here for the moment, so I couldn't travel back home, and also it's very expensive going back home. So for the moment I'm just at home. I'm just in school here and studying. That's why I haven't been able to travel back home. So I do keep in touch with my family. Every week we do video calls every week, mostly Saturdays and Sunday. That's when I call my family, and so weekly we encourage each other. Over the week we just like send texts and words of encouragement or how the week is going. So that's how I keep in touch with my family. So every week we actually have to talk to each other, or if we are busy, we just send a text that we can talk. But at least just knowing how everyone is doing is always very, very key and important in our family.
Now, here in Kenya, there are several preventive measures that have been put in place. People are advised to wash their hands frequently, of course, maintain a safe distance, social distancing, hand sanitizing, and several others, which include covering your mouth when sneezing or coughing. In regard to this, what message do you have for people back at home?
At this moment, every country in the world is feeling the pain and is feeling the challenges. I would say it will be very important to stick with to kind of like listen to what the government is saying, and take this matter seriously, because I think when we adhere to the social distancing, we adhere to the curfew. This is just one way of reducing that curve of the infection, and you'll see instead of the number increasing of the people who are being infected, it will be good to see the number reducing, and and I think that's what we should be. Each one of us should be looking at that to see that we are reducing the number of people being infected instead of increasing it. So I would say try to listen to the government, because I think the governments everywhere are doing their best to see that they are able to calm this issue. And I think with us supporting the government, if the citizens support the government, then it will be, we're working together with the government, then we'll be able to to deal with the infection easily, and probably sooner rather than later we'll be able to get back on track and yeah, just keep living our life the way we are hoping to live. This situation with COVID-19, I mean, it has led to us staying a lot in the house, staying indoors for a lot of time, and also not having a lot of people around you. Yeah, for me, I would say it's just been a moment to kind of like think and reflect upon my life. And when I think of Jesus and Moses when they went to the wilderness for 40 days, I mean, it just shows how, so when they were away for 40 days, they were alone, yes, but I won't say they were lonely. So that's kind of like the take that I go with. Yes, students have gone home, and the other students that we can't go home are still in school. Right now, we might feel that we are lonely, but we are alone, but we are not lonely, because I believe God is with us and God is everywhere. He's taking care of us, and this is kind of like the time to sharpen whatever our purpose in life is, and yeah, and just developing ourselves. So I believe by the time this period ends, I believe it should be a time for us to kind of like renew ourselves and to be new again, and have something new to give to the world by the end of this season. So I will just encourage everyone at this time, take this time as time that you can connect with God, and kind of like know how you're gonna kind of like fulfill more on what your purpose is in life.
All right, thank you so much for speaking to us, Japhet. Stay safe, and we wish you well.
Thank you very much, and wish you well.
That was Japhet Lolo, a Kenyan student who is studying in Canada at Booth University. Let's take a break, but don't go too far, because when we come back, we'll be speaking to yet another Kenyan who is out of the country as well. See you in a few.